Hello and welcome to a not so awesome review, and today we are looking at the Pokemon Select Charizard action figure by, oh my god, Jazwares. It's always Jazwares. I've done this intro so many times and I keep forgetting the name. It's Jazwares. Okay, we got it, we're good, alright. So, just to get it out of the way, the Pokemon does come with a stand. It's cool, it holds the figure fine. It does pop off from the side and from the bottom here. Holds it just fine. Just want to put that out there so we can just focus on this amazing figure, because this figure for $20, 20, not 30, not 40, $20 has like met my expectations and passed them, and has made me a very happy person, because I've always wanted an articulated Charizard. Now I know there's the Figure Arts Charizard, which is like a crazy amount of money. I've never got it because it's a crazy amount of money. I think the pre-orders always sold out, and just the aftermarket, and never got it. Wanted it, and this guy came out and I needed it. Picked it up, and so very happy I did, because again, they've done a really good job with this. Even messing with it right now, I was just thinking, well, it's too bad they didn't do this, and then I'm messing with it and I'm like, oh my god, actually, this actually works better than I thought. So even right now, as I'm like filming the review and like getting ready for it, I'm like discovering things about this figure, and I'm like, wow, that was great. Now don't get me wrong, it does have its flaws, it does have its own issues. Aesthetics isn't one of them. If you want to go through and look how the figure looks like, paint job came out pretty clean throughout. There's really not too much to kind of mess up either, but the green on it looks good, the flame tail looks good, the yellow it on the body through the tail, good. Fingernails, the eyes, the mouth, everything painted fine. I do wish it was a matted plastic, but again, $20, can't really expect, too much, but I feel like it definitely would have added to it, and you'll see why I'm saying that in a little bit later once we get to comparisons. But again, it is a really great figure, and a lot of it is due to the size. For one, this is a pretty decent sized Charizard, bigger than the one that had the little flame thingy that threw out of its mouth by Jazwares. That one came out a few years ago. I regretted not getting it for the longest time. I was like looking so forward to the model kit until I found out how small it was, and finding out about this and like seeing it in the store so soon after too. I'm just excited. I'm happy it's here. And let's just get into the articulation, because that's where this figure definitely shines. Again, some minor issues, and we'll get to that in a second. So, actually starting off with height, I don't know when he looks straight up, because I actually haven't measured when he looks straight up. Straight up, 6 inches, just about tall. So, about 5 1/4 when he's looking straight, and he's about a foot long, which, about that when he's all with his tail straight out, his face straight forward. So, again, pretty big. Wish he was a little bit bigger. We'll get into that later, but articulation, starting with the neck here, he can, again, look up a very good amount. That's straight up. That's exactly what you want for something that's going to be flying around. That's perfect. You can even level it off a little bit. So, that, again, perfect. Look down that much, and that's just using this hinge. You can go down more using the other hinge, so you can look down his like tiny little enemies right there, look up and everything right there with those hinges. He does have a hinged mouth, which is painted nicely. Teeth are in there, great. They did not skimp on the paint. It's there. So I'm happy about that. Rotation at the neck and rotation at the other end of the neck, which they could have easily like not thought about this and just left this one long piece. But because of the way it's designed, this is what I'm talking about by it was really smart, because you can rotate. Like, if you can't do a head pivot but this way. Like, this is a hinge. It's not a ball joint, so there's no pivot side to side. That would have really not sucked, but it would have been kind of annoying. But because of the way the hinge is, and the way that it is really just a cylinder, it's not shaped too much to be like a neck. It's just like a cylinder shape right there. You can rotate this sideways if you really wanted to, and then just boom, left, boom, right. So if you want like even more, right there, that that's great. That I absolutely love the fact that they did this, because without it, we wouldn't have been able to get so much more character out of the figure. Side to side is definitely important when it comes to like being able to take nice pictures, being able to get nice poses out, and that just that simple rotation there, and making the headpiece a separate ball peg right there, ball joint, added so much to it that I have to applaud them on that, because it's genius. It could have done like a ball peg or something, like a double ball peg on here, or some, just something to, make it so everything moved better. But this works. I like it. I'm a fan of that. I'm a big fan of that, because who doesn't want a Charizard that's looking down sideways, like getting ready to go in for like a swoop or something, and still be able to look down and sideways, So again, gotta applaud them on that right there. Great job. So anyways, moving on to the arms, can go up that much, which is definitely a good amount. Better than some other action figures. Not great, but better than 90. It can rotate, if I can lower it, rotate all the way around. If you move the wing out of the way, it does have rotation at the upper arm, rotation at the wrist, and it does have a double jointed elbow. Not the nicest looking elbow. It's really flat once you get it. It does do all the way. It's like a perfect elbow, but it looks really flat, really weird. It's a little weak in some places. It can be turned the other way where it looks broken. Like I said, it's a little weak, but it is, I think, like a little ratcheted. So once you feel it, right there, it does stay. So not the worst thing in the world, just a very odd choice, but all right. There is a hinge right here at the legs, so the legs can actually spread out a pretty good amount for, his size. They can rotate forward and back more than forward, which is good, because if you're getting a flying pose and you want him like that, there you go. That's what you want. It does have these knee right here and his foot. So again, you can get it like that, but both of these are a little weak, especially that little knee joint right there. I can feel it when I move it. And because of the heaviness of the tail, it does weigh it back. And the fact that the knees are so weak, and even the legs, the foot part right here, is so weak, it's not going to hold the pose unless you balance the figure. So that kind of sucks. It makes making him stand certain ways a little bit more difficult. It is what it is. I'm not going to complain too much, but I do wish these were a little bit tighter. But on the plus side, he does have a really good angle pivot right there. So I mean, that's like some stuff that I wish some Marvel Legends had and other figures, so I can't complain. So anyways, tail does have a hinge in 1, 2, 3 places. All of them rotate, so you can do a good amount of tail things going on there, including all the way back. It will have this lump, but I can deal with that. Can go forward that much, the other one back that much, forward that much, and the final one back that much and forward that much, giving him some really good tail options for whatever you want to try and do. Something like that, something weird like that, I don't know, but I love having the options. Again, adds to it. And last but not least, the wings can move forward, they can move all the way back, and then we get rotation at the other end of the wings, the middle right there, so he can move them forward or he can move them back. So you can get some good flying poses right there. I do wish we could rotate these forward and back like that, but I can understand why they didn't do it. Like, looking at Charizard, I don't think he would actually do that in real life if he was real, but it would be nice because we could get him into some other flying poses. But again, that's just nitpicking there, and that's all I can really do is nitpick and say, oh, I wish it wasn't as glossy, or I wish the wings could rotate this way. Oh, the elbow joint's a little bit off. Really, the only actual solid complaint I can come up with this is the fact that these, like the little knee and the foot, are a bit weak, because that's the worst of it. Again, $20 figure. I love it. I can't complain. I think they did an amazing job, and I applaud them. And before we even get to the size comparisons and like wrapping this up, yeah, I recommend it. If that wasn't like already clear, if you're a Pokemon fan, if you love Charizard, if you have a kid who loves Charizard or something, get it, because it's definitely a good figure. And it's one of those figures that I feel like it's gonna be not easy to get, but not hard to get, and then one day will disappear and jump up in price, because that's happened with certain Pokemon. I believe Mewtwo did that. The articulated one wasn't super hyper articulated, but he did rise a little bit. So yeah, definitely one of those ones you want to be on the lookout for. But anyways, let's get on to some comparisons. And I'm going to try and do this without actually having to cut the video, so I don't have to edit as much. But a long time ago, you know, when Pokemon first came out, I saw this at Target, was there with my mom, probably my sister, because it makes sense that she would be there. I would have been like 8, so of course she would have had to have been there. I remember the day I got these. I remember sitting in the living room. I think I might have put on a Pokemon VHS tape, maybe not, but I definitely had one. But I remember just looking at these and being really excited. And this is right here is the Charizard that kind of started it all for me. I wish it was matted like this. I'm not gonna lie. I wish this one was this orange and was matted. This, I believe, is a final figure. It does have articulation at the arms and legs. My wing popped off so many times when I was young, and it was annoying. And there is like some black marks where I tried to tape it. I finally was able to get it on just by heating it up. Didn't know that back then. Little articulation in the tail and the head. But I had so much fun with this one, and it was a 2-pack that came with the Blastoids. And like, little kid me is so happy that this thing exists, because I love doing photography. It's what I do, and having a Charizard I can pose, it makes me so happy, because I can do cool things with it now. I was actually going to try and do stuff with this one, even though it has all these marks and stuff. Just never got around to it, and now I don't really have to, because I have that one. I might try and do something with that one eventually, but it's just cool to see where, you know, basically we started, where we are right now. What does that mean? Like, how it started, how it's going? That's what basically this is right here. And it's going pretty darn good. It started good, and it's going good, because this one honestly is not bad at all either. I actually have these on display in my room. I don't display much of what I collect. Funny enough, you would think I would like display a bunch of figures and stuff. I display some stuff, and I don't know, I don't like the cluttered mess. But those ones I've had out for a while now. Anyways, here he is next to the Charmeleon from the same company, Jazwares. Again, forgetting that name. And an older Tomy Charmander, so you can kind of see the size differences there. Between these two, not too bad. This is basically the same size I think they've always been. Was it like 2 inches? So, not bad there. This guy's definitely seen better days, but it's a classic. So, there you go. Let's move that out of the way. Let's do Eevee. I believe that's Figma Eevee. Pikachu. And Jolteon. Again, pretty good size differences. Not bad. And let's do the Ash. And if I can get him to stand, the red Figma. I wish I had the figure art Ash, but unfortunately never got it. And that thing, since Pokemon blew up last year, has jumped up way more than what I was willing to pay for it before. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But okay, so I'm gonna say this right now, because people in the comments of the Lapras video from a couple years ago, they're like, oh, Lapras is too small. Like, because I was saying, you know, you can kind of fudge it and it wouldn't be too bad to put red on it. And honestly, I'm standing by that. You know, Lapras' size, yes, he is smaller than what he should be. It's a smaller Lapras. You can still make it work if you really wanted to. I should have actually brought Lapras out here for a comparison, but I'm gonna say it right now that it works. Yes, he is really, really small. This would be considered a very small Charizard. He should be at least another inch or two bigger, probably 2 inches bigger. Even like 50% bigger, I think would have been good. If you've seen some statues, they've done it where Charizard is pretty giant and Ash sitting on him is a lot smaller. But it works. It's not perfect, but the way I see it and the way I saw it, especially with Lapras, who doesn't have a pre-evolution, not all Pokemon are going to be the same size. You know, especially for Lapras, which doesn't have a pre-evolution, I would assume that there's got to be baby Laprases that grow up bigger and bigger. I could think of that as like a younger Lapras. Maybe not so much for Charizard here, but I mean, Ash's Charizard, if you remember in the show, was tiny compared to the other Charizards of that. What was it called? Was it Charizard Valley? Something Valley? Wherever, when the episode where Charizard leaves. Horrible, not horrible episode, good episode, but heartbreaking episode. I mean, come on, who gives up a Charizard? I mean, let's not get into that because that's just going to open old wounds. But yeah, Pokemon come in all shapes and sizes. I think just like people, just like actual animals. So it works. You can definitely get these guys to sit on him. Some ways better than others. I did take some pictures where I was able to get Red onto him. I was actually trying to do it that way because I feel like that way makes the most sense to me. But after looking at some statues, like they had photos of Ash kind of sitting around right there, right in front of the wings. So I did that a few times. It works. Again, it's not perfect. You're not going to ever be happy with the scale there probably. But it works. It works for me. It works for some photos. And yeah, just don't nitpick with stuff like that and you'll have fun, which is what we should all be having here. They're action figures, they're toys, they're meant to have fun. And this one's fun level is definitely up there. Again, articulation is great. Looks like Charizard. The head thing just makes me so happy. The fact that we get a little stand so you can kind of mess with him and put him on the stand and everything and have different poses. It just adds to that level. He makes a great display in and out of the box because of that giant window the box has. And I just recommend it 100%. So excited for Articuno and to see what else they come with. Hopefully we get a new Blastoids and Venusaur. They did release, I think, another few of those, but smaller. So again, hopefully ones that rival his size and whatever else comes, I'm excited to see. So yeah, that's pretty much my review for this Charizard. Went on a little bit longer than I intended it to, but yeah, so not too much editing in this one. Last one, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what the best way to do these videos. Again, I feel like I'm doing that every single time I come back to this channel, or every single time I'm like making videos. I'm like, I didn't like how I edited that one. The audio on the last one went back and forth because I used two different recording devices, so yeah, gonna try this way where it's just one shot. It's a lot longer than what I wanted, but yeah, anyways, I'm just ranting here. So again, recommend it. If you guys see it, pick it up, and not really much else to say other than thank you for watching, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.